Distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to join you today for this important international conference dedicated to cultural heritage and right to return. I am grateful to Western Azerbaijan community for convening this gathering at a time when the international community is increasingly recognizing that justice, reconciliation and lasting peace require the protection of cultural heritage and the restoration of the right of displaced people. Today, during the conference, we already heard that this issue is not just issue of Azerbaijan, returning of displaced persons, because it was mentioned also Italy, it was mentioned also Indonesia, and probably we can find many other places where the same issues are important. Therefore, I very much would like to commend Azerbaijan for raising this issue, rising at such an international level. Our panel focused on the subject of tremendous significance, international cooperation, mobilizing global support. And from my point of view, what is the most important is the global awareness and leadership, and I will speak about it later on. In this context, I would like to highlight an essential dimension, the methods and means through which international cooperation can be mobilized for the restoration of the cultural heritage of Azerbaijanis displaced from Armenia. For Azerbaijanis expelled from Armenia, cultural heritage is not simple stone, wood, on earth. It is memory, identity, and connection to ancestral land. And today, I guess, many of previous speakers mentioned what is important and why it is so important to return. The loss, destruction, or alternation of these heritage sites represents not only a cultural tragedy, but an assault on historical truth and human dignity. International law affirms that the protection and restoration of heritage in post-conflict setting is both a right and a duty. It is a cornerstone of any reconciliation process. Why international cooperation matters? And I guess today, listening panelists from already 3 and 4th panel, you heard a lot about importance of international cooperation. And this conference itself is a good example that proves that we have to cooperate for such kind of issues. The scope and sensitivity of the issues make international cooperation indispensable. No single actor can independently safeguard and restore cultural heritage that has been systematically demanded, erased, or misappropriated. States, global institutions, academical cycles, civil society, and diplomatic partners must align their efforts to form a coherent and principled approach. Engaging the United Nations Education, Scientific and Culture Organization, the International Council on Monuments and Sites, the International Center for Studies of the Preservation and Restoration of Cultural Properties, and other expert bodies to assess, verify, and document the destruction or alternation of Azerbaijani heritage sites. And I am just touching main international organization, but again, during this conference, you heard that there can be involved many others. Deploying independent fact-finding missions to create an authoritative records that can guide restoration and initiatives. and establishing satellite monitoring and digital heritage mapping programs to track sites over time and prevention future erosion. And I also would like to join the speaker who mentioned today about using modern technologies like drones and, of course, artificial intelligence that can help to track and record all important sites that is important for us. Next very important method is diplomacy. Bilateral and multilateral diplomacy channels, and today was also mentioned about establishing diplomatic channels between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Incorporating heritage restoration into regional negotiation platforms and diplomacy dialogue. Encouraging states to support Azerbaijani call for safe, dignified and voluntary return of displaced Azerbaijanis, an essential prerequisite for restoration their heritage. And promoting cultural and confidence building measures between Armenia and Azerbaijan within international mediation process. Again, legal instruments. Also, during previous conversations and previous panelists mentioned Haga Convention, and I also would like to mention about it that it is very important to remember such documents and use them as a tool for implementation of our goals. The UNESCO World Heritage Convention and human rights instruments to ensure protection and restitution. Seeking remedies through international courts and arbitrary mechanisms in case of deliberate destruction also is a very important tool that can be used. And advocating for new international framework to address heritage-related injustices arising from forced displacement. Next method is academical and technical cooperation. And one of the first panelists mentioned about youth exchange. And from my point of view, it is very important to use this method. And I also like that, for example, ADA Academy is very active in international cooperation that help develop such international platforms that help to achieve also these goals. Creating heritage database, archives, and digital reconstructions that preserve memory and support future physical restoration. Because today was also mentioned that without memory there is no heritage, and we should preserve and create different kind of databases that will help to preserve all our memories. Encouraging archaeological missions and cultural surveys with international participations.
Try to wrap up, please.
Yeah, sorry?
1 minute.
Okay. And there can be NGOs and civil society engagement, as you can see, what is very important to attract funding and assistance we have to look and use for this purpose. Today I mentioned that awareness and leadership are two most important issues, and everything what I just described to you is related mostly with awareness. But from my point of view, Western Azerbaijani Committee is one of society is one of the issues that should take leadership for achieving this goal, and with good leadership, from my point of view, we can achieve it. With this, I wish you success in this important goal, and thank you very much for attention.